Now that you know what a medical assistant is and what they do, let's find out what it takes to be a certified medical assistant. Over to you, Ms. Nowitt. Are you prepared?
Today we are here with Ms. Sharon Scott, who is the program director of the Virginia College Medical Assistant Program, and she's going to inform us on some of the educational parts of being a MA. So, Ms. Scott, could you please give us a brief description of your educational background and how you got into becoming an instructor here?
My educational background includes a bachelor's degree in nursing, a master's degree in nursing with a specialty in education, and I am almost completed with a master's in business administration with a specialty in management. What brought me here was, of course, my educational degree. I had worked in the field for about 13 years. Well, I take that back, for almost 16 years, and had advanced up to a patient and employee educational position, and then when this became open, I of course jumped at the opportunity.
So you spent most of your career as a teacher or an instructor per se?
Actually, no. I spent most of my career as a clinician. I worked in intensive care and telemetry. And then I worked at Ask a Nurse for a number of years, and that's where I got into the educational aspect of it.
Okay, thank you. Can you tell future students the necessary qualifications to attend school to become an MA?
Well, to attend school, you have to have a high school diploma or equivalent with a GED. And then you can choose two programs, either the certificate or the associate degree program. The certificate program will get you finished with school sooner. It's a 15-month program, and the associate degree is a 24-month. Now, of course, it's my personal opinion that everyone needs a college education, and certainly for advancement, you need that college degree.
Okay, thank you. Could you give us a couple of jobs that being a medical assistant can lead into?
Well, you can, as a medical assistant, you can work the front part of the office, you can work the back part of the office. If, as a clinician, you know, you can have that hands-on patient care. In the front part, you can, you know, assist with the scheduling and everything like that. You can also advance up to the administrative part where I've seen many MAs actually become office managers.
Okay. Now you said that there's the clinical part of it, and that's where the medical assistant directly functions with the patients coming in to the office.
Right. From the time the patient enters the office, the medical assistant can either sign them in, and then it is, of course, the medical assistant that calls them back, takes their vital signs, assists the physician, and even does the patient education on their medication or follow-up appointments and things like that.
Okay. Thank you. In your opinion, is the future as a medical assistant beneficial to the medical community?
Absolutely. Medical assistants, I think, are the new LPNs of the future. I think the medical assistants will certainly take over that role. As a medical assistant, you're able to give some medications, you can do EKGs, you can draw blood, and the physician is going to want that type of person in their office. But they're not going to want to pay that licensed person. They'll pay a certified person, you know, to do that position. They're basically one and the same, but one is a licensed person, one's a certified person, and the licensed person can all, you know, certainly demand more money.
Okay, pertaining to the certifications, do the school cover all of them or just a certain one?
The certifications are covered in the tuition of the school. When you complete your program and you're on your externship, the medical assistant sits for the phlebotomy certification. So by externship, you'll have your sticks required to get the certification exam for that. And then after you graduate, we send in the application and the check for the MA to sit for the Certified Medical Assistant exam, which is given by the AAMA, American Association of Medical Assistants.
I think I saw in the flyer that there's a registered clinical medical assistant.
There's a registered medical assistant, there's a certified medical assistant, there's a certified clinical medical assistant. They're all basically the same thing. It's kind of like alphabet soup. A certified and a registered and a certified clinical. It just depends on the company that's giving the exam. They're all national certifications. Before we became ABHES accredited, our students sat for the registered medical assistant. Those students had no more difficult time finding a job than the certified medical assistants. It's just that in certain areas, the name draws more attention, and in the CSRA, the certified medical assistant is the one that the physicians know more of and require.
Oh, okay. So it's based upon the familiarity of the
area and the doctors.
office.
Exactly.
Okay, so that the test that is given after the student finished school covers all of those.
Absolutely.
The registered, the
Yes.
clinical, and the certified clinical.
Right.
Oh, cool.
And the student can go on to even take more certifications. They can become certified in EKG technician. You know, there are a lot more certifications that the student can do. And I always encourage it. The more certifications you have, the more marketable you are in the field.
Okay.
You know, so you want to sell yourself. And remember, the way to sell yourself is through education.
Yes, ma'am. And thank you, Miss Scott. And now back to Whitney.
Great information, Teresa. Any spectators looking to get into the field of being a medical assistant, she mapped out a perfect picture of what's to come. By the way, did you know that MAs believe in a lot of educational myths? For example, if an eardrum busts, it can't repair itself and you'll be deaf in that ear. Why a myth? Because an eardrum can get holes from a lot of different things, but there will only be some temporary hearing loss because most holes will heal well on their own. But that doesn't mean for you to go sticking stuff in your ears. Stick around. We'll be right back.
This is Nicole. She's a daughter, a mother, and a soldier's wife. She enrolled in Virginia College to provide more for her family. But often, our darkest moments come just as we're making life brighter. Her husband was deployed, and her mother became terminally ill. With the help of her instructors, she was able to be there for her family and stay in school to be better for her family. She woke up earlier, stayed up later, and drove further to class and back every day. Today she's shown her boys the new life she promised. Sometimes, success starts when you don't give up. You give your all. Virginia College. Your success starts here. Call Virginia College today or visit vc.edu.
Need a little more motivation to give you that push? Getting the money rolling in, we have Miss Eden with Money Talks.
Yes, Whitney, money certainly does talk, and what we're going to be exploring today is income and what you're expected to make as a medical assistant, depending on your location in our great United States.
Let's start with the hot high-income states, starting with the West Coast here in Washington, Oregon, California, Alaska, and Hawaii. Expect to be making upwards from $32,000 to nearing $40,000 per year. Included in these high-income areas are Colorado, Minnesota, moving to New York, Vermont, New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts, and D.C. Keep in mind that most of these high-income states are relatively high-populated areas, which means the higher your population, the more likely cost of living will be. Next, let's move on to the states projecting in range from $29,000 to about $32,000 a year. These states include the upper Midwest, Montana, Wyoming, North Dakota, down to Nevada and Arizona. Also in Wisconsin and Illinois. On to the eastern front, expect areas like Maine, Virginia, and Delaware to have the same range in market income. Now next we'll cover the 28K to 30K incomes per year, and these include Idaho, New Mexico, the Lone Star State, yeehaw, Texas, Florida, Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, Michigan, Indiana, PA, Georgia, and the Carolinas. And lastly, we are covering today the 22K to 28K range, and these states would be Utah, South Dakota, our Plains states, Kansas, Oklahoma, moving east to Arkansas, Louisiana, MISSI, PPI, Mississippi, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, Ohio, and let's not forget Roll Tide, Alabama.
Like I said earlier, on the high-income states, when you're looking for an income of an MA, keep in mind your place of living. Just because you're making more does not necessarily mean easy income, easy living. This concludes our segment on Money Talks. Back to you, Whitney.
That concludes our broadcast for today. But before we go, what in the ham sandwich? Did you know that a medical assistant occupation can get started in as little as 1 year of education? Their positions are among the highest in demand in the healthcare industry. The Bureau of Labor Statistics claimed that between 2008 and 2018, medical assistant jobs are predicted to grow by as much as 34%, which is above average for all occupations. 5 reasons to consider: job growth and stability, short training time, versatility and portability, the money, and personal satisfaction. And for all you eager job seekers out there, primary home health care is also an area where the demand is always increasing for talented MAs. This is Whitney Williams, shutting the front door. Thanks for tuning in.